Welcome to Across the Desk and our new series in partnership with Maddie Dever, the Autistic Rambler. Maddie is a non-binary autistic advocate engaged in political advocacy, a parent of 5, and a very funny person. I think we're going to have a lot to talk about, and we look forward to you joining the conversation. Now let's get to rambling. Yeah. Okay, so hello and welcome to Across the Desk, and we're doing a little bit of a weirdie today. So we are autistic rambling, and Maddie's actually rambling.
Yeah. Coherently, incoherently, bumbling. I don't know. It's just going to be what it is today.
More like a motorized version of rambling.
Yeah. Well,
So
I will be stationary in about 1 minute.
You're out in the sunshine, so that's lovely.
Ah, yes. It is. Yesterday was the warmest October day in Ottawa's recorded history, and the warmest autumn day in Ottawa's recorded history, and the latest we've ever had a day above 30 degrees. And today we may have a new record for the latest day of over 30 degrees. It's been the difference for me is that the evenings are cooler and nighttime. Yeah. So that's a plus, and I'm not where I thought I was. Okay, one more minute.
We're getting there. But you started out with so to give context to everybody, Maddie has been going through a bit of a process for probably about a year.
Oh, 3 years.
3 years. Oh, geez.
October 2020.
Around housing, where they have had a bad word of a landlord. Doing a bunch of things to drive Maddie out. And unfortunately, housing, when you have intersectionalities of disabilities, it's not as easy as just going and finding another place to live, because there's a lot of considerations around Maddie's ability to navigate in a space and proximity to services, proximity to bus, proximity to what have you. And I think in the other space you had mentioned at one point that, like, to get up the stairs, like, you literally have to bum hitch up the stairs.
Yeah.
Which, that's a wedgie waiting to happen. So now they're sort of stopping. I feel like we should put this video out because you're all over the place.
Exactly. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about today is, I've had a lot of support. I've had a lot of people that able to help me at different points. But this past, month, and especially this week, as I'm in the middle of moving from one place to another, the supports of family and friends that we've had in the past weren't able to be there this week. And this is the first move where I have been completely physically disabled on top of being autistic. Being autistic hasn't been the challenge here. The intersectionality of my physical disabilities. I used to be able to do the move pretty well myself. Like, my daughter and I, maybe one extra person but we were able to get the truck, load the truck, pack everything. And we could move in a day and clean in a day. And I've done that so many times over my adult life and my teen life too. We moved around a bit. This time, packing is extremely difficult because of the use of my hands. And I had PSW, but I haven't had a PSW in a month.
What?
Yeah, that's a whole other issue. So I've been dealing with trying to keep going when I can only lead and direct. And just seeing, like, when you're disabled, it takes longer to do things. Mm-hmm. And so what's happened is I've had to fill in getting other people instead of friends and family. I've had to hire people.
Oh,
it's an additional expense. Do I have it? No, but I have to move, and I have every day. My daughter, few days ago in the middle of the night, she went to get her box of meds, which was in the living room, and she fell onto and through a bookcase, and then sliced her knee, and that made her very difficult for her to do the stuff that she was doing the next day. And then, because when you push your body through things that, and you just push through because you kind of have to, eventually your body gives up, and now it looks like she may have bronchitis.
Oh God! Well, you know what? I know that choo-choo train, because that was my life 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I hear you.
I think, all the way through this, even though we have these challenges and difficulties, I've tried to balance having a few little points of just falling apart so I could get that over with and continue on. You have to keep going. You have to find that way to, in the midst of absolute chaos and change and turmoil, know that this is a time that there will be a new time. And I'm going to have to unlock the house for my daughter, who just appeared in the middle of my podcast. Sorry. Yeah, that would be Matlin. She's
Hi, Matlin.
Welcome to the podcast, Matlin. Hi. Do you want me to unlock it? Okay.
Oh, you're losing your chapeau.
Okay. No, I'm on a podcast now. we're having in the midst of a moving podcast, so this is chaos.
Hey, well, you know what? Here's the cool thing about our podcast.
Yes.
Is that this can become a piece, and then it joins onto another piece, so it doesn't have to be finished today.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like this is slightly cathartic for you as well to.
Oh yeah.
Get some.
Well, this is our therapy session. We've talked about this before. That our podcast, like, we just we talk about neat ideas, and sometimes we just end up struggling with keys and having doors slammed.
Got it. Got it. Need it. Want it.
Oh.
It's so interesting. I mean, it's not interesting. It is interesting, because the interesting thing is, so we're actually starting to deliver an employment works program. Spirit Careers Canada is in January. So it's one more thing I have to manage, right? So my brain right now is all about compartmentalizing and managing, and how, am I going to manage my time and whatever. And I woke up thinking, I have to move more. I have to get this excess energy out so that I can focus, or I have to learn to lie down for 10 minutes in the afternoon, because I did it the other day and I was like, what is this wizardry of having 10 minutes of lying down? Is this a thing? Like, do people do this?
Yeah.
And I was sick for 6 weeks. Now that I say that out loud, that's kind of scary. I have not been this sick this often in my entire existence. But we are so busy now, it's amazing that I'm not taking the time. I think you pointed out about taking those moments to have that emotional whatever. I think there's a lot of power in that.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's times where, like, I have two choices. I can find a way to push through, or I completely fall apart and do nothing and have everything done to me instead of for or with me.
Yeah.
And so I've learned is that there's a power in letting yourself let go so that you can find your way back. And realize and do it in sort of intentionally, like if you stuff your emotions down, they will come out of control, and when you least expect it, and when you least need it to happen.
Well, sweetie, mine come out in the form of a crunchy bar is what mine come out. Mine come out in the form of snacky poos.
Yeah. I mean, there's a way. I mean, sometimes I'll just go to the store and have a chocolate bar and go,
because it gives you that endorphin rush that you need as a break from all of the cortisol that's coursing through our bodies like some kind of stress soup.
Yeah. So my new house is much smaller than the old house. So we're going to have to pare down, which is great. It's what I want to do. But the one really neat thing it has is a porch.
Is that what you're on right now?
Well, yes. And we I have a rocking chair that used to be in my bedroom, but there's no room in my bedroom for a rocking chair. So it was put on the porch just temporarily, and I'm like,
Couldn't
oh,
take it.
this has been my dream all my life, is having a rocking chair on a porch, and here I am.
Are you an old Mississippi woman and I missed it?
I'm an old Mississippi woman, and I'm sitting on my rocking chair, watching the world go by, making sure nobody
Mama.
does anything wrong. Because
I'm
I
gonna
tell
start
you,
calling you Mama.
oh yeah, I'm going to start getting some knitting needles and
Grits.
putting them on the table, making people think I can do it. They can't. Hire somebody to do it. I can get it halfway and put it down. Everything will be mine.
But that, you know what? It's those little things, right? Like the podcast that's just gone up a little while ago was all about finding your comfort and those moments. And that ties into this. And it's interesting because this morning, I'm just podcast palooza this week. So I did a podcast with Jason Bean. And part of the focus of that was what they've had similar struggles, right? And a lot of trauma from early family relationships, and they're public about that. So I'm not outing them. But those comfort moments. And so you had messaged me and you had said that this was the first time your physical challenges really sort of came home to roost as far as the reality of, right?
How limited I am. You know, I mean, I focus most of my life on the things that I can do and try to get support for the things that I struggle with. But then there's these times where, you know, it's really clear where the gap is, where the barriers are, where I don't. There's just things that I can't do, and it's hard when they're so clearly in front of me, because I usually try to find a way around it by finding somebody to just help me, you know, doing this or that. But times like this, it's like this move has shown. Like yesterday I tried sweeping and my hands
Matt,
burned for hours. Why?
that?
Because it needed to get done. I know pushing myself through things that I cannot do makes things worse for me. But and this is what I was trying to work through yesterday. And you know, I can't do it. I got to find another way. It's why we ended up hiring a mover yesterday. I ended up hiring a cleaner who's been there today and yesterday and today. I have to hire somebody to, you know, a guy with a van who can just come and pick up and take the rest of our stuff today, and we're done. They need to be done by the end of the day today. So I was so stuck on trying to find a way for us to do it that I didn't think through having to, like, hiring a mover is what you do when you've got a lot of money and you don't have a lot of time. Because usually, you know, I've every other move I've done, I've had a lot of friends to help me, but I don't have a lot of friends around the area where I live. All my close friends are in Ottawa, which is really an hour away, or they're across the province or across the country. I'm really well connected. I love my life. I feel, you know, part of several communities that I'm really close to. I mean, I have you as a close friend. I have a few other people that, you know, when I need to chat or talk about things, they're there. But I don't have the physical closeness of people. And I mean, I started trying to get involved with the community, but this whole housing thing has been messing up with my mind and my ability to do much more. I mean, it honestly, it took me a full 2 months, almost 80% of my thinking and doing time to find a place and then moving into the place. I've been saying all weekend, I'm looking forward to Tuesday, because Tuesday was supposed to be the day after the move.
Yeah.
It looks like I am now hoping that Thursday can be that Tuesday, and maybe it'll be Taco Thursday. I'll celebrate with tacos. But it's a challenge. It's
you
been
know
a
that
real
means
challenge.
something else in other circles, right? I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I don't
Maybe
get those
not.
tacos.
No. You're more of a taquito, those tightly rolled.
Actually, it's more fajitas. I mean, okay, I like taco salads, and I like fajitas that have gluten-free tortillas. Yeah, which is rare to
Gone into
find.
a different. It's all good.
Food. We could have a whole podcast on the food things. My food life, yes, by Maddie Dever.
I just ended up in the wander. So my background is British, and I miss England very much. And I wasn't born there, but spent a lot of time there, and my family's all there. So any opportunity to walk into a British shop, and you'd think I had died and gone to heaven. And going back to comfort and what have you. And so I had to take my son. My son got his driver's license, which some folks will be going, big deal. Well, he's 25 and autistic, and the pandemic put things behind. Well, this was impacting his ability to get a job. And right? So much to your situation of accessing services. So I had to take him today to get this driver record thing so that he could get his insurance, and that gets a huge step forward.
Yeah.
Well, of course, beside the MPO is the Wandering Scot. And in the Wandering Scot, wouldn't there be a wide variety of
British wares?
Of British wares. And so that was my happy place. But you had me thinking, because a little while ago, and I just brought this up actually the other day somewhere, we had talked about creating a social con, right? Which is still sitting in the back of my mind, and the planning sheet is still up in the office. It's just funding and capacity.
Yeah, I got to talk to you about another idea that popped in my head that I started writing about quite a bit about this morning. I got it. Anyways, yeah, I'll have to talk to you about it offline.
That'll be another one. But
it's a similar thing, I think.
But this is one thing that I have always had hesitancies about, is the strong connection within the autism community to virtual relationships, right?
Yeah.
And you and I have been fortunate to meet in person a number of times now, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm very sorry. I did drive to Ottawa, but I knew you were moving, so I was not going to add.
You didn't offer to help? Come on. This is what I'm talking about. Dude. I know.
Mama.
I know. I'm a
Mama
just moved away. Yeah.
Put a box against my head. But that's my concern. Right?
I'm dead.
Hey, don't go there. Is that when we say it's okay, just stick with virtual. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's relationships. It's okay. That's connection. Yeah. But is it? And
I think the answer is variable. For some people, yeah. But for others, there's a need for a mix. And I think we can learn a lot more about relationships online, but then we need some ideas and support to get us to be able to translate that into the real world. And that's actually another idea I was having that I wrote a lot of notes about is no, this one is about it's how do we teach autistic youth, whether 15 to 25, let's just put an age range, how to connect. It's easy to find a way of connecting with other neurodivergent folks, but how do we engage the neurotypicals in that too, and have on an equal basis, not us trying to change for that, but to be more like them, but them learning how to adapt to be able to be with us. I think we've talked about it on a podcast before, but it's also like there's some things we need to learn about to be able to be autonomous, able to exercise our agency, able to do things in the world, learn how to adult in the way that's autistic. That's why AU capital D. Anyway, like there's a lot of things that just sort of escape us, and so we escape, right? And it's perfectly fine, but everything is perfectly fine in moderation. And I think
you're a huge advocate for that, which I appreciate. Because
as I said, it's very variable. I have my son, I think, has had some real life experiences with people in school, but once he graduated, that kind of the natural place for that to happen went away, and so he just naturally became an online person and found a tribe, and was able to do the things that he likes to do. COVID was great for him. he didn't really want to
That
go
would have been
anywhere.
great for me, because when they said you have to stay inside and not talk to other people, I was like, "Steve fucking off!"
Yeah, I mean, he's the kind of kid that likes to be present, but doing his own thing. He loves it being over and being part of a family, part of a group, but he doesn't need to interact, and he doesn't really. It doesn't really feel comfortable playing in the games. He just wants to be there. And I have another daughter who likes to be in the same place,
Making me seasick.
but she likes
Okay.
to be in a room to herself.
Maddie, you're making me seasick because your
I'm
camera's going.
sorry. Do you want to turn the camera off?
Well, no, I like seeing your face, but
Okay.
I just, you can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise,
This face is.
keep it.
I've been very busy, so I'm grimy today. I'm a grimy guy.
But you know what? I mean, grimy. So that's one of the things that Jason and I were talking about this morning. And I know you're a huge advocate for this, which I love about both of you now. And I would love to have Jason come on and connect you two in an ongoing way. There's two things. One of the things that Paulette and I, my business partner and I, when we co-founded Socially ASD, which is our not-for-profit side, the intent was always to co-create with neurodivergent individuals who are 18 plus what Socially ASD would look like, what the activities would be, all that kinds of thing. Because what we were hearing from neurodivergent individuals in the autism community was that a lot of the programming was created to them, not with them. And they felt infantilized, that their word, not mine, by some of the existing programming. So we started out with an online, because it was in the middle of COVID, we started out with online games, but we didn't lead the games. Aiden, one of our board members, was the games master. Paulette and I showed up because I had to facilitate the Zoom link and da-da-da-da-da. But then we were hands off and let them
connect, figure our way.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of worms coming out of the ground. Where do we go? Hi.
Pretty much. But they would also peer correct each other, which was what we were looking for.
Yeah.
So then we transitioned back into face-to-face. We have board games night once a month. And then earlier this year, I had a dad reach out and said, would you help me set up an in-person 2-time a month bowling league that my son will run, Guillaume? I was like, hell yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to be there very often. But so it's anywhere from 4 to 8 people that come out twice a month.
Yeah. And
they bowl and they have dinner together and they have cahoots, and Guillaume's happier than a pig in poop, which is fantastic. So with that,
I should get one here and get a bunch of people in wheelchairs and we can call it rolling and bowling.
You could, but that would be awesome, right?
Yeah. One of the things I feel is missing in this community is a concerted effort to provide recreational opportunities for people with disabilities. They've got it for seniors, they've got it for kids and teens, but like I feel like I've asked once, like, what do people with disabilities do in this town? Because so many things are just not accessible, so we don't try. And that's actually sort of part of why, like before, so COVID happened. I was able-bodied. COVID happened. Had a car accident. 3 months into COVID, became disabled. But everybody's online now. This past year, we're all coming. I'm coming out. I'm disabled. Activities are popping up, and I'm hitting those barriers. And I didn't have a need. I had a much easier time finding people to do stuff with because I could do pretty well anything. And now I realize it's possibly the limitations that I'm seeing. Again, they may not actually be there, but is what's making me feel not connected to the people here, which is making me it's able-bodied, COVID, disabled, no COVID, disabled. It has been 4 stages. That it's 4 pages, 4 stages. The transformation is I'm now trying to get a handle on. Something I wanted to mention that I realized today. I was thinking about stimming and what, and then I realized, okay, I was doing a few physical things in the house this morning that I probably shouldn't have done, and I was feeling just overwhelmed. So I sat down outside on the stairs, and I started swaying, and I realized, oh, that's how my body regulates itself when I've overdone it. I mean, I tend to. That's why I love this rocking chair.
Sort of a metronome, but But a
I,
metronome on a
I,
piano, the whole
yeah,
point is to keep you on beat and to keep
yeah,
you on pace. And that would be very
yeah.
comforting. To go back to
Look
your,
at the
your
look at the trees. Like the trees do the swing.
well,
There's this
trees talk.
natural feeling of a it's just slight movement and motion. But I realized how much it helped me today. How much it does a
Good.
bit of it does a bit of that reconnective tissue stuff that our body does. It does it for me in a um,
I don't.
I think it actually physically affects my body in a positive way as well as my mind and soul.
Well, so Paulette showed me. So I'll go back to a second. There's two things. So Paulette showed me this. You look like a power skater when you do it. It's this big swing move with your arms and a big swing behind with your leg, right? And you do opposite side and you do whatever. And we started a stretching group at Tech Place. And we've fallen off the rails. So we have to get back on it because we all feel so much better when we take a pause and move our bodies in a positive way.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed about you, going back to accessibility and what have you, is that you really haven't, I mean, from my perspective, being somebody who's able-bodied, not able-minded, but able-bodied, you really make it happen. Like you are much like Jason Bean, like extremely determined to not let your life happen to you. And
Yeah.
so for perspective, folks, Maddie travels extensively in Southern Ontario. And when I mean extensively, I mean extensively. Like, I'll get this message through our Google chat and they're off to Kitchener, and then they were off to Toronto, and then they're bombing around Toronto doing whatever, and then they're bombing to Ottawa, for a conference, and then they're bombing somewhere else for.
Yeah.
So as
thank
much
you,
as
Via. Thank you, go.
yeah, but I think that's more of a testament, and this is what I was saying to Jason Bean this morning, is that both of you have this indomitable spirit that despite challenges, right? Because Jason has multiple diagnoses around learning differences, autism, ADHD, and what have you. And they battle with a little bit of mental health stuff, which given what their life has been like, I can understand that. And you have the same, like similar barriers that would lay other people out on their butts. And
yeah, well, it did lay me. So there was a long period of time in my life, from 2008 to 2011, where I was in less physical disability than I am now, but it was significantly more than I was used to. I went from being completely able-bodied to being completely shut down. I was in a wheelchair for a period of time. I couldn't use one arm and I couldn't use both arms. It was a real struggle. And my mind, like I was a wreck. I was awful. Every time there was new pain, I would get insolent and irritable. And I was just living my life on the sofa until I had a pain doctor who told me that there's no such thing as chronic pain as a different thing. Chronic is the length of time everything's acute. There's either an acute reason or there's something referring to it that's, so my attitude changed. It wasn't me being psychosomatic. It wasn't like any found some of the root causes of some of the pain that I had. Did my pain go down a little bit? But my attitude towards pain changed. And
100%.
so like it's like I've lived the life where I was completely stuck. And I honestly thought my life, with the rest of my life, was just gonna be living on the sofa, not able to do things, having people do everything for me. I mean, right now I'm in that place where I need everybody to do things for me.
Yeah.
But the way I work it is that they're doing it with me. I'm in a chair, and some place, like when I'm in my wheelchair, I have the ability to go, and that is the biggest thing that really unlocked me, is my ability to go. So if there's times where I don't have access to a wheelchair and I need to be pushed around, that's hard for me. That's still a hard thing for me to deal with. But when I'm in the wheelchair or I'm in my chair and I actually have kids that are supporting me, when I'm sitting in a chair at home, I have access to my computer. I can communicate. I can write things. I can speak. I can be on podcasts Well, right now, actually, I'm on my phone, which is the first time I think we've done a podcast while I've been on the phone.
I think it's the second one, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
Yes.
But it's like
But it all comes down to what you said, Maddie,
Yeah,
though. It all comes down to attitude. And that was
Yep.
the same thing with Jason.
Yep.
And you made some excellent points, which I have been pondering on ever since. And it was really interesting because I've run into, I have met a lot of autistic people, and never would I ever transfer one person's experience in being autistic onto another individual.
Yeah.
But one commonality seems to be either the mindset of, you need to do everything for me, I can't do this, like a very scarcity, can't do it mindset, or indomitable, like, screw you, I'm going to do it.
It's all about my theory of autism is that we end up building and securing and layering on our core beliefs. Right or wrong, we have them. And when they're like, my core belief is that there will be a way for me to get through any barrier I have. I just don't know it yet, but there's a way. That's my core belief, is that, and I also understand my purpose. My purpose is to find a way to make all people with disabilities thrive, have a good quality of life, and understand and unlock
the
that
opportunity.
So
to at least,
so that's I have a purpose, and I have different core beliefs than I did before. The core belief that I am the problem of my pain had to be broken, and then able to replace that with a new core belief. And I see this. I've seen this with my kids. I've seen this, like this, where we struggle, where we push back, where we get into great things or awful things, is because we hold so tightly to these core beliefs. This is what people outside of the autistic community don't understand, is how deep these run. And when you see them, when you see this, like when you see an autistic seemingly not rational on a particular thing, it's because they may be grasping on whatever angle that they can push that core belief. And every time they're confronted with a different reality, like it's a seismic thing. And eventually, with patience and with love, you can help them see a different core belief so that they can shift that layer of things. It's really hard, and sometimes we just get stuck, but sometimes we can't move past something in an area that we should be able to see a different thing based on the evidence
you
around
just
us.
shoulded.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, again, this is the should thing, right? Like this is the area, like this is the island of the shoulds, are the core beliefs.
And that's so what I find interesting, right? And you and I have discussed this on and off, and Paulette and I have been focusing on this for a while. And the other Jason on our team, Jason Little, is agile and change practitioner, right? Like he's a global agile guy.
Yeah, the techie amongst techies.
Well, it's beyond techie, right? Like he has this drive around making change a positive thing, and that's something I believe that. Oh, that's close.
I was reading a text that popped up from my daughter.
That's okay. My son just decided to let me know that he's gone for a drive.
Next week he can actually sing an Olivia Rodrigo song. I got my driver's license last week. There we go.
Oh, I don't know that one, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure if his insurance papers are here, so he should not be. I'm not sure what's happening with that, but anyway. Well, that was a complete.
Stairs are challenging here, but doable.
Okay, well, don't fall.
Well, it would really make the podcast.
That'll be next level.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you good?
I'm good. I need to get one thing. We're going to be rolling back to my other house for the rest of this podcast.
Oh, woohoo.
We started on a roll. We're going to end on a roll.
Well, that's so change and accepting change and understanding the power of change and giving people the tools to be comfortable with change, I think is part of that moving from virtual community to some in-person community.
Mm-hmm.
Moving from my pain is my world to my world has some pain in it.
Yeah.
And, my past has some bad stuff. So therefore my whole life has bad stuff. And I wonder if part of it is because Jason and I were chatting about PTSD. So I was diagnosed with PTSD 4 years ago. And I was doing some research because that didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I definitely had post-traumatic stress issues, but I looked up and there is post-traumatic stress injury is a term that's being thrown around. I like that because an injury you can heal from. An injury you can make a plan to recover. A disorder implies that that's the rest of your life. And I think that plays into some folks' mindsets around it can't change and it will always be this way.
So we're talking about language, right? Language changes attitudes. So calling something a disorder, it's saying something is wrong with you. And if you look at it in a different way and use different language, I like with autistic spectrum condition instead of disorder. A condition is something you have. It may come and go, but it's part of you, and you might need support for it. Whereas disorders, like the word itself, disorder, wrong. It's in the wrong order, the wrong place.
I like that idea because I think
yeah. I mean, I also have childhood PTSD, and there's some things that just like I had thought 4, 5, 6 years ago that I had put that aside, that I'd gone through it. I've been, I'd had the therapy, I'd had, whatever, and I had felt a release. Then we drove by an area, and I fell apart. And it doesn't take. There's a few things, when I read on the news that I sort of have to go by, and sometimes I actually have to let myself experience the pain again, so that again I can release it and park it and move on. But it's I had thought I was cured. No, it's something that is with me. When
I'm not saying it won't leave a mark.
Yeah, like scars can be healed, but they still leave a mark. And sometimes that mark can be a little bit of pain. And if we live our life thinking that it's destruction.
Okay. Oh, careful. Just, watch your left and right here. So Maddie's on the roll again.
On the roll again.
Rolling.
Maddie's on the roll again. Going between two houses, hopefully for the last time. Maddie's on the roll again. Yeah, okay, there we go. New lyrics.
A lovely singing voice.
Thank you.
But I think more than anything, when you came on and you said, the fluctuation of support, and much like you just mentioned about, autism spectrum condition, I think I had a really interesting conversation with one of our board members last year, and they were having a really hard time during dinner. And I was watching them and I was like, all right, something's up here. I said, you know what, you young fella, we're going to go have a chat. Turns out, and they looked at me and they were like, is it possible that I'm not autistic anymore? And I went, never say never, but tell me more. And it wasn't that they weren't autistic anymore. It was that they had put such huge effort into how their autism impacted their life, that things that he'd been told should be a problem were no longer a problem. And that was the first time I introduced him to, should is a shaming word, and tell him to shut the shit up. But I think that's the same for you with your intersectionalities, right? Some days pain is a big thing. when you had that big boo-boo on your arm?
Mm-hmm. And what it is, when it comes to autism and, the diagnosis and criteria and all that stuff, it's all because we're trying to see something wrong with you, right? But really, let's just call them characteristics. The characteristics that we look at can be both strengths and challenges. Somebody who is hyper excited can also have anxiety. Same thing. Excitement, anxiety, different faces of the
Same in
same
the
coin,
body.
right? It's the
Yep.
same sort of effect on the body. We have, we go deep into things, which can be extremely helpful, but means that sometimes we also get stuck. Every trait, our communication with neurotypicals is challenged, but generally our communication styles with other neurodivergent folks is, it's easier. Like, we do things differently, and these traits aren't wrong. So when people think that, and also when you have support, you do not have the negative experiences. So like masking, hides girls and people from different ethnic communities from the autism diagnosis until it becomes a problem, right? When they're after, but if they're supported, like two kids that have the same, they have the same uh, experience, the same challenges, the same things that they do, but one is supported and the other is not. The one that's not supported is going to get the diagnosis first and throw in all kinds of other supports that may or may not work. But the kid who has the supports may not be seen as it. But one day, grade 6 happens, they decide that we don't need EAs anymore. We're going to have kids go to a different place every single period, and all of a sudden, the kid falls apart. Then you see the autism. The autism was there all along, but there was support, accommodations made naturally, whatever. Like, we need to stop looking at the characteristics of autism as negative traits, and we need to look at them as just part of who we are. And it's where we're supported and where we're not supported. It's always about.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the thing that I say every time I speak anywhere. We need to support needs and not labels. Labels are great until they're not.
We talked about that this morning, because one of the things we've run into with my son is that support services will see his label and make assumptions, positive and negative, more negative than positive. So I get, Maddie knows I get very shirty about certain things. And I really wish, well, no, we'll back up. So I was at a conference last week called the Global Apprenticeship Summit. And one of the reasons I'm there is because we are trying to create more inclusion within advanced manufacturing and trades, where it's appropriate for neurodiversity and neurodivergent individuals, right? And a researcher from Switzerland got up, and Patricia Halser, and Dr. Halser was talking about how childhood support from parents made a difference in the outcome of autistic individuals. Yeah. And what happened with Thomas is that because I worked so hard at home on a variety of behaviors and awareness and whatever, he would get support services pulled at school because he was doing really well. And Mrs. Plouffe, Thomas is doing great. And then we get a turf in the ass.
One of the biggest challenges we have with the attitude of the school system is they give kids a support, and once they see the kid, hey, doing well, they pull the support. The support was the factor that made the success.
Yep.
So you should keep doing things like,
but it can ebb and flow. It can ebb and flow. To your point earlier, there's going to be times where you need to be a little more, and there's going to be times where you could pull back, but not yank it like a Charlie Brown in the football.
Yes. That analogy has come out in quite a few places in the last couple of weeks. It's
true.
Yeah, I love it too. Yeah, Lucy is the school system. Charlie Brown is the parent, and the football is of kids.
Yep. Yep. I'll take that.
All right.
So that's, Maddie started out with that point around, realizing the value of support. And I encourage you to understand the difference between virtual relationships and in-person relationships, and the support. I'm not questioning the support that anybody finds online. I think that's amazing. Yeah, my son has a combination of, right? But Maddie's point consistently is about balance and not using online support to say, oh, I don't need to go out. I don't need to make face-to-face friends. I don't need to pursue community, because then it comes down to moments like this where, and honestly, had I realized you were in difficulty, I would have changed my plans on Saturday.
I didn't realize we were in difficulty until late Sunday night and then Monday morning. So it was one of those things where, yeah, I know. That's why I was joking with you earlier, because we didn't start moving until Sunday night. I know you would have. Yeah. If I knew you're still in town, I would have said, hey, because I was trying to think, who do I know that's close by that I could drop on? And my answers were, oh, crap, I don't really have that right now. Like the closer friends I have are way outside the radius of people that would drive to help me out. So, or at least that I could think of in the time. And it's one of those things where I've also been like really weighed down these last 2 months trying to find a place and feeling that, like I'm going to be in a hotel, or for I don't know how long, or it just the fear of being homeless kept driving me to find a solution, which I did. Right 3 days before I needed it, which is just great. So I realized that some of my thinking power has been diminished, and especially some of those executive functioning things that I can normally figure out in a crisis. Of like, okay, I've still been doing it, just not as. I need a day or two of rest after all this is done to recalibrate.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, that's what I do. I really do.
And that's the other point that we made, is that when you are in a situation, right? So to your point, when your pain doctor diagnosed the difference between acute and chronic pain, right?
Yeah.
And when Maddie's been under acute stress for 2 months, because Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the basest one is housing, and it's not just you, it's your children, right?
Yeah.
So when your personal safety is under threat, that's one thing. When your kids are under threat, that's next level. And you have done remarkably well in showing up and advocating, and that's the main thing from you and Jason today. If you take nothing else away from the 2 podcasts, so the other one with Jason Bean is under our Future Looks Good thing, and we're going to continue with Jason, and I would love to have Jason come on here, Maddie, and you two.
Yeah.
I'll just sit back and watch, because that would be
just give us any topic. We'll probably talk for hours. Yeah. All right.
But
we need to wrap this up.
Indomitable spirit,
I need to go inside here. I'm roasting.
Yeah, do your thing. Thank you, darling. And then you'll go back to your porch and be mama.
Yeah. My mama always said, the sun's hot, get out of the sun. Actually, she never said that. She said, go out and play, come back when the lights are dim.
When you're exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
My mom said the same. All right, darling. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Thank you for joining us on Across the Desk and our new series, The Autistic Rambler. Please visit spirocareerscanada.ca to learn more about the tools we're building with the autism community, and please visit theautisticrambler.com to learn more about Maddie Dever.